just the way you choose to spend your weekend. Volleyball tonight, Valentine's tomorrow. We got a championship rematch in the Fishers Event Center here in Indiana. The defending champs are the Orlando Valkyries. Last season, they beat the Indy Ignite in the title, and the two teams rematch here tonight, meeting up for the second time of 4 this regular season. Thank you so much for joining us here in the Fishers Event Center alongside Emily Eamon, AJ Cannell with you. And, you know, it's sports. Both of these teams bring back a lot of familiar faces from last year, but they're learning. You can't just run it back and expect everything to be the same from a year ago.
Some things have changed, but what hasn't is the fact that Indy and Orlando are both in the top half of MLV right now. Indy's leading the league because of their dominant offense. It's fast, it's aggressive, and it has stifled opponents in that way. Orlando's still trying to find their rhythm at 4th in the league due to some key injuries, but when they do, this team is going to be lights out.
What do you think so far of the fit, though, for Hannah Maddox and Orlando?
Hannah Maddox has been fantastic on the outside, really been the #1 consistent that they've relied on for the past few weeks. She's a physical presence who can hit some great angles with her high contact point. Maddox is coming off the 2 best matches of the year with a combined 47 kills. She's heating up at the right time. Orlando has to be able to rely on her a lot tonight with key pieces out. For Indy, no one's been more consistent the past 2 seasons than opposite Ajani Teeler. She can pack a punch. Teeler's not the tallest player at just 5'9", but she touches 10-7, and she uses that vert and power to get it done. She's leading Indy in kills per set this year and hits you from the front and the back row. When things get tight for the Ignite, watch them to go to Teeler in the big moments.
Teeler is joined on the right side by the league leader in assists, Mia Tuaninga, in her first year with Indy. Also keep an eye on Lekator member Mena, who was an early season MVP candidate last year for the Ignite before an injury took her out. She's back and looking to perform better than ever this season. For Orlando, you might notice something different on the right side of the net for them. That's Nia Chimay and Hannah Pukas out there. Interesting. And the reason is, for Orlando, well, they're dealing with some injuries right now. Last year's regular season MVP, Brittany Abercrombie, last year's postseason MVP, Shampoo Goodpart, are out in addition to Charity Looper. Those are some big-time absences for Orlando, so the question is, who has to step up?
Yeah, a few players are going to have to play really key parts, and the #1 right there is Hannah Pukas, who's the setter, just 1-year professional. She'll have the setting duties tonight. Courtney Schwann, the 7-year veteran outside, stepping in for Charity Looper. And then Nia Chimay gets her 2nd start of the year after Brittany Abercrombie is also out with injury. 3 massive pieces to the offense of Orlando. The offense is going to have to find rhythm early with Hannah Pukas right there, #2 in blue.
Well, Pukas got some valuable experience when Orlando became the first ever American team to compete in the FIVB Club World Championships. It was Pukas as their setter, not Shampoo, during that time. And she is making her 2nd straight start, the 3rd of her career, as Indy starts the game serving. And Elena Scott has an early dig. D-ball for Ajani Teeler. We just heard that before the match, that she's getting so much better at hitting line on that shot.
Yeah, hitting line from the backcourt's been the #1 focus for Ajani Teeler over the past few weeks or so. Right away gets it done.
Lekator member Mena unable to seek the contact right there, so Orlando sides out, evens it up at 1.
We mentioned how good Ajani Teeler has been on the right side, but really Indy's a balanced offense from the pins. You have Lekator member Mena right there, and also Anna DeBeer, who gets a lot of sets from the outside.
Tuaninga to member Mena. Now Courtney Schwann back in the starting lineup. Hitter coverage is there for Orlando, but a free ball. On the slide, a tip by Moeller. And it's Maddox floating that one, getting a piece of the block and scoring.
With not a big back row attacking presence for Orlando right now, Hannah Maddox is really the only player that's gotten consistent reps back there. Watch for them to go to the go-to attacker, #14, when she's back row.
It is Blake Moeller hammering that one home for the Ignite. She didn't play in their loss against San Diego. They've been interchanging the middles.
And a lot of that interchanging has been because head coach Lauren Bertolacci wants everyone to get playing time. She knows deeper in the season it is so important to have depth at positions. And they've got 4 capable middles in there. She feels confident with any night.
And that's a back set to Naya Chimay. It's that Pukas to Chimay combination for Orlando with both Abercrombie and Shampoo out.
And Chimay kind of struggled in that loss to Omaha. She started the first set but then got pulled because her numbers just weren't great. But head coach Amy Pauley wants to instill that confidence in her.
Now it's Taylor behind the attack line. She's got 2 early kills on the D-ball.
This time Taylor moves the ball around. The first kill went down the line. This time, look at the seam in the block. It's pretty small, but she's still able to see it back there and rip right through it.
Short serve from Moeller. Pukas hits Swan, and Swan is engulfed. Lydia Martin has become a much improved blocker this season.
This has been a massive focus for Martin just in her second season of professional ball. She was good last year offensively, but now has really picked up the defense as well.
2 blocks in a row for the Ignite. This time it's DeBeer getting the best of Kaz Brown.
We think back to the first time these 2 teams met. Indy won in 4, and a lot of that was due to their defense. They put up 16 stuffs in a 4-set match. No matter who's out on the court tonight for Orlando, the attackers have to do a better job of swinging high and for the edges of the block.
Courtney Swan, the server for Orlando, came off the bench in their most recent match, but in the absence of Looper, moves back into the starting lineup. It's Martin stuffed by Brown. They're ready for the gap set.
It's really important for Orlando to establish the middle threat early on. Hannah Pukas does a great job finding Kaz Brown in this rotation.
Maddox gets a big piece of the block. Hannah Maddox is coming off back-to-back matches with more than 20 kills.
I've been so impressed with Hannah Maddox this season. It's just her 2nd year of professional volleyball, 3rd rather, and she's doing such a great job attacking different shots.
DeBeer takes the pass, and the set for member Mena. Too hot to handle there for Lecator member Mena.
And she'll actually get called for stepping over the 3-meter line. It's just those small, I don't even want to say inches, it's like a centimeter that decides whether you get the point or your opponent gets the point.
You said the 3-meter line, so stuck to the right unit there. And a misconnection between Tuaninga and Lydia Martin.
Yeah, and that's really frustrating for Mia Tuaninga because she's actually running a great play there. Martin's just not ready, up and available to make the swing on it.
Orlando goes into the break on a 5-0 run. A timeout in Indy. The defending champions are in front. Tonight's MLV match on Roku is brought to you by Franklin, by Wren Athletics, and by Spalding. Welcome back to the Fishers Event Center. It's a 5-0 run for Hannah Maddox and Orlando jumping ahead of Indy early.
Orlando doing a great job defensively right now. Indy's hitting 0 on the night, and this is the best offense in the league.
Let's see what the solution is for the Ignite. Tuaninga showing her creativity. The turnaround set there. She was facing away from the net on the assist to Martin.
And that is a lot of improvement just in the last point, because the last one Martin wasn't up and available and Tuaninga set that ball. Same situation, but Martin's up and available and gets the kill.
Mia Tuaninga, much improved jump server as well. But that's a smash from Maddox.
And so far today, Hannah Pukas is setting a beautiful game. She's getting all her attackers involved, and you don't know where the ball is going. It's very unpredictable. Watch this set. It's going over her shoulder. You might know it's going outside, but with the tempo that it is, it's hard for the block to set up right.
Block wasn't there for Teeler, hitting left side in that rotation.
Taylor's so versatile. Wherever she is out on the court, she does a great job of knowing what situation she's in, seeing the block, and putting it down.
DeBeer clips the tape. Maddox out of system. Remember Mena. Couple of digs for Scott in the point, and that falls out. So a kill for Teeler.
With the outside struggling to find kills right now for India, Johnny Teeler is doing it all, finding ways to score in different situations.
Teeler off to a 3-for-4 start, tied pass, but Pukas is able to pull it off the net. Elena Scott takes the second ball. Teeler off the top of the block, and that's her 4th kill on 5 swings.
Beautiful footwork from Johnny Teeler here. The ball's coming from the libero with her hands. It has to cross her body as a right-handed attacker before she hits it. She gets her feet there and is able to have that full swing right into it.
Remember, Elena Scott, high school setter. Very accustomed to taking the second touch. DeBeer tacks on an ace, and the Indy run continues. DeBeer's 6th ace of the season, and a timeout called by the Valkyries.
So far, a back-and-forth battle, and it's been decided on who can go on the longer run. Both sides need to do a better job of passing that ball up so they can run an in-tempo offense.
It's been an interesting start to the season for the defending champions. Orlando just 1-4 at home, but undefeated on the road. So hoping to maintain that record here on the road in Indy, a team that's been very good at home. The way the year has gone so far, a lot of teams have struggled at home. Only 1 of 2 with a winning record at home. DeBeer, who starred semi-locally at Louisville in college. Chimay, the back row attack, that's a miss, and the run extends to 5-0.
And Nia Chimay struggled hitting from the back row during their last match against Omaha, but I like the way that they're moving her around and where she's attacking that ball from.
Each team has now had a 5-0 run. Maddox goes softer, but the block was there. A 6-0 run.
This is the serve of DeBeer working really well at the block up front. DeBeer knocks him out of system. The only options outside, and both Teeler and Martin are waiting on this ball.
Good dig, Tuaninga. Member Mena is down. Everything clicking for the Ignite.
Defense turning into offense for the Indy Ignite. Mia Tuaninga, watch how she takes this ball. It's not with both hands on a platform. She just uses one arm to keep it alive, and then Scott sends a beautiful ball outside. Member Mena puts it down. Just when it feels like Orlando has a ton of momentum, Indy completely flips the script.
they've flipped it and written some of their own. Forced Orlando to take 2 timeouts during this same run as De Beer stays behind the service line. Orlando, no timeouts left in the first set.
The biggest thing for Orlando right now is because they have different players out on the court, what they need to do is pass better. That means that the attackers don't have to work as hard. Hannah Pukas doesn't have to work as hard getting to the ball. So the pass needs to be better for Orlando.
Indy was the expansion team last year. Dallas, the new addition this year. Those are your first and second place teams right now in Major League Volleyball.
It's been really impressive to see the way that both teams have come into the league and just dominated completely from scratch. A lot of times it takes time to develop those connections and the culture, but Dallas and Indy doing such a good job.
We'll see if this 7-0 run goes any further. Scott races for the second touch. Smart from member Mena. Maddox looking for contact and gets it. And Hannah Maddox finally snaps the extended run.
It's a great transition play for Orlando. They're able to run a ball that comes right off the tape. It's a fast offense outside and gets a touch.
Maddox 4 kills, a couple of errors, 8 swings. Martin is errant.
Good run for Indy. Good decision from tuning in to get the middle going. Just timing and connection slightly off on that one.
Last year, Lydia Martin was 42 points better than the next best player in the league, leading the entire league in kill percentage. Good cover by Pusic. Teeler's one-on-one. Not going to stop that.
You can't leave a Johnny Teeler with just one blocker up. She will bury this in the floor every single time. Because Indy's been defending well, Tuninga has had all options on attack, and that's led to an unpredictable offense the Ignite are running. With 2 attackers on one side, that leaves Teeler on an island.
It's interesting how both of the top pins for Indy, Member Mena and Teeler, have similar stories. Member Mena coming originally from Atlanta, and Teeler from Orlando, where she was just a role player her first year in the league.
Which is crazy to think about Teeler back in 2024. She was a practice player at one point for this Orlando Valkyries team. Came to Indy last season and absolutely dominated the league in almost every capacity.
And she's back at it this year with Indy going into the technical timeout, up by 4.
Whoa! They're just switching?
Well, we are in year 3 of Major League Volleyball with Indy up 16-12 here in this match against Orlando. Emily Eamon, this is a first for us to be able to break to the people that are watching. Break some news.
Morgan Hens is headed to Morgan Hens is headed to Grand Rapids, and Elena Ogilvy is headed to Omaha, which is a massive trade. You think about the impact that Morgan Hens has had. She's been the libero of the year 2 times in this league. And Elena Ogilvy has done a phenomenal job, but that's a massive pickup for Grand Rapids.
Morgan Hens, you're talking about an Olympic quality player that is going now to Grand Rapids. Remember, Hens was an addition for Omaha in the offseason from Atlanta. Hens lately has really been struggling passing, kind of uncharacteristic, very uncharacteristically for a player of that caliber. And so Elena Ogilvy, very, very talented in her own right, and the first-round pick going as well to Omaha. Interesting. Teeler is blocked there. The the set wasn't probably in the perfect spot for her.
I said a little bit too close to the net. Taylor only had one option, and it was to hit straight on, which was right into the block. Really well done by Schwann there.
Faster tempo set. Member Mena is dug out there by Pukas. Back to Member Mena. That's down for Lekator Member Mena, going high flat.
This is what Member Mena does really well. Because she's a bit undersized, she hits the ball really flat at the block, so she's able to tool hands really well and often.
And now shows off the jump serve. Member Mena on the bick. I missed.
Mia Tuning is a great repeat setter, so she goes back to the player that had just gotten that kill, knowing that she's a hot hand. Member Mena just missing a little long.
Orlando had pulled within two, then the missed serve separates Indy by 3, with Blake Moeller taking the serve. Nia Chimay missing that one for Orlando. Again, she replaces Abercrombie, who's injured. Maddox on the pick. Got it to go.
Maddox has been really effective back there so far. Hannah Pukas hasn't run it too often, but when Maddox is coming through, it's like a freight train the way that she moves. Great run. Pusic takes this one. Great vision going back to the left side toward the middle.
Great pass by De Beer, and it sets up Tuaninga to do what she pleases.
Just those celebrations on Indy's side. This team is so much fun to watch. When you have personalities like Tuaninga along with Member Mena, Taylor, just everyone out on that court, it always looks like they're having so much fun.
It's funny when you put it that way. Maddox twists that one through, muscles it through the block. It's down to the Indy side. They were already very much like this last year.
Yeah.
And then you add Tuaninga to the mix.
I mean, you add Tuaninga to any team and it'll automatically boost the energy, but especially when you already had a really fun team that is the Ignite, it's just like tenfold.
And Tuaninga, known for outsized personality at USC, played her rookie season with Atlanta and replaces Sydney Hilly, who also went over to Omaha in the offseason. It was Hilly and Hentz as their big additions for Omaha. Hentz has now just been traded to Grand Rapids.
That just shows you this league is completely fluid, similar to most other professional leagues out there. You never know what's going to happen, even during the season, a massive news like that.
That is the excitement of Major League Volleyball. Taylor over there on the double block, and Maddox is sent packing.
The block for Indy is really coming on strong. The front line has done a really good job moving side to side, especially when the opponent, Orlando here, is out of system. They have been stifling over on the out.
Both players got a piece of that one. Taylor contacted it first. De Beers had a couple of aces. That one hit the tape and fell.
This was the same rotation last time that Orlando really struggled in. With De Beer on the back line, they weren't able to get passes. The number one focus right now has to be a high ball.
This time, Chimay keeps it in the court on that back row attack.
This is a point where Orlando has to continue to answer for every point that Indy sides out on.
Good pass, Member Mena. And another ISO for Taylor.
Taylor is crushing it right now. 8 kills in just this set alone. Orlando's too often leaving her one-on-one, and she's ripping it straight to the floor. I mean, watch how hard she's swinging on these balls.
All facets of the game are dialed right now for the Ignite.
Orlando has to make that adjustment. They're getting crushed on the outside when they're out of system. The blocking for Indy is elite. Orlando has to answer that.
Tough part for Orlando, they don't have that gravitational force in Abercrombie. on the right side of the net. I mean, not to mention their starting setter, Shampoo. Bree Kelly extends the set. Indy's had 5 blocks in the set, passing 56% positive. And that's been more than enough for the Ignite, holding the Valkyries to 107 hitting percentage as Maddox serves. Scott handles it. The set to member Mena, a rocket that was dug by Pukas, who's had a couple of good ones. And floor defense, member Mena, that set was a little too low for her to handle, and she's blocked.
And you got to credit the defense on Orlando's side for that. I mean, Hannah Pukas in the backcourt, I don't know how she got that ball up. Her reaction time is absolutely insane. And then in the front court, this ball too low, a trap set, easy eat up for Orlando.
And a net clipping ace for Maddox to make this more interesting and forcing Lauren Bertolacci to press pause at 24-21.
This has just been a complete set of runs. Both side hasn't necessarily been able to side out very quick. And Indy kind of being on the better half of most of those runs. But Orlando's had a few of their own too, and they're going to need a big one right now if they want to hold it. A few key serves are going to be crucial.
Yeah, for the most part, Indy has handled serve receive pretty well. And it's led to an ultra-efficient first set, a dominant first set from Ajani Teeler. Meanwhile, we highlighted Maddox at the top, again, with less eye candy elsewhere to draw the block. It's been tough sledding for Maddox.
Yeah, and Maddox has gotten her kills, but you look at that efficiency. I mean, 700 from Ajani Teeler is almost 3 times what you hope for in terms of efficiency.
Maddox, who for most of her pro career has been a pure jump server, switched it up a little bit. It's another one-on-one. That's going down every time for Ajani Teeler.
That set for Indy was all Ajani Teeler, along with the stifling block up front that she was a part of for so many of those 5. Orlando has to find an answer for Teeler to start things off set 2.
I mean, one thing's for sure, you're never going to stop Teeler in those one-on-one situations, and she just crushed it in the first set, as did the Indy Ignite. They were runners-up to Orlando last year, looking for their revenge. Indy won the first set, 25-21 over Orlando, a rematch of last year's championship, which took place in Vegas. Indy won a match earlier this year in Orlando, now meeting up for the first time this season in Indy. They took the first set by 4. Let's take a look at first set stats, brought to you by Spalding. We had a great defensive first set. We're talking a lot about Teeler, rightfully so, offensively, but for Indy, holding Orlando to just 103 and blocking them 5 times.
Yeah, the key offensively for Indy was using Teeler. Defensively, it was knocking their opponent out of system. Those 5 blocks, most of them came from out of system blocking. So Indy's serving really well and forcing Orlando into chaotic situations. That's resulting in, you know where the ball's going, it's going outside, and the block's just been waiting on it.
Ajani Teeler's 9 kills in the first set were 2 off a league record. Brittany Abercrombie, who's injured and unavailable tonight for Orlando, remarkably has already had 11 kills in a set 3 times, tying herself for the league record. Reagan Cooper's also done it once.
I mean, it's just unreal what Brittany Abercrombie is able to do out on the court, which also just shows you how much Orlando is missing right now in terms of production.
Tip from Member Meta. Didn't see a lot of tips from anyone in the first set, as Hannah Maddox has run into a wall so far tonight.
Yeah, tipping's not the style, really, of either team, which makes it really fun volleyball to watch. So you'll see a lot of explosive kills, but then also a lot of blocks coming right back down at you from strong swings.
Maddox, an improved passer, according to her head coach. Handled that one. Got the block touch against Brown. DeBeer crushes one from behind the attack line.
I love the way Mia Tuning is running this offense right now because everyone's gotten involved in it. Even in this situation, it's a great chase down from Elena Scott to get it up. DeBeer knows that she has to be available as an option, and she goes up and gets a kill.
Shorter serve from Teeler. Brown is one-on-one, but the block touch is there. On the other side, Moeller misses the mark.
That timing just a little bit off in the connection between Tuning and Moeller on that slide.
I'm interested, what were your takeaways, though, from this morning? We were at Serve and Pass, Lauren Bertolacci, on the development of Tuaninga in her first year in the system for Indy.
Yeah, it's been really impressive to see what Tuning has done, because when you think about just her career, she had the ball in her hands and was setting USC for 4 straight seasons, but she didn't play last year when she was in Atlanta. This is her first time starting professionally, and head coach Bertolacci talked a lot about just her development in owning that and her ability to run the offense. It was also a competition to start the year between her and Nisei Havili as Indy puts that one in the net. And it was a question of who's going to win out. Mia Tuninga won that because of her consistency, but really her all-around game. And that includes defense and serving was a massive piece of why.
We got a stuff block from Chimay on the right side for Orlando.
Great handwork from Nia Chimay here. She turns her right hand back into the court, which forces DeBeer nowhere to go but down.
Chimay reads that tip, and it tees up Maddox. Orlando trying to click it in gear with Pukas behind the service line. We got a couple of setters who competed against each other in the Pac-12 back in the day.
R.I.P.
It's coming back.
Pac-12.
It's coming back in a different form. Maddox cuts it at Teeler. It's DeBeer rising up and setting it down.
We saw a few misconnects between Tuninga and DeBeer. Tuninga trying to shoot that ball out a little bit too fast, but DeBeer actually needs a little bit of a higher set. Because she can jump so high, it's actually more beneficial for her to have a little height on that so she can get that full extension.
Kelly. DeBeer. That one hit the court on the Orlando side, so it's a point for Indy.
And that play really started because of a great slowdown. Lydia Martin was all over that middle attack, getting a touch on it.
Block touches, they don't always show up the same way in the stats. They're statted somewhere, but not often a stat that the public sees. The kill for Martin.
Well, and that was another great example of it. Martin's working so hard to get out to her pins to block. She gets another great block touch. What that does is it slows down the defense, so it gives her backcourt a little bit more time to play it, and that gives her time as a middle to get off the net and ready to hit.
Lucas to Chimay. Can find their footing here. Teeler is dug by Courtney Schwann. Great all-around player for Orlando. Tight set. Maddox handles it and gets it to the floor. But it's a net violation.
Yeah, that ball just a little bit too tight. Maddox's momentum just carries her straight into the net after that she contacted it.
Courtney Schwann having a discussion with Devony McClarty in the stand.
Asking about that potential double that Blake Moeller sent over, but subjective call, you can't challenge it.
4 straight for Indy until Bree Kelly out of Pittsburgh with the kill.
Bree Kelly's game has translated so well professionally, and I love that Amy Pauley really credited Dan Fisher, her head coach at Pittsburgh, for just how well-rounded she is and her ability to be ready to go right away when she was drafted.
We've seen league-wide as Kelly blocks De Beer. Speaking of a couple of big names at the collegiate level, just it's been such a great league, Major League Volleyball, for that transition for a lot of the stars that people are used to seeing in the NCAA.
I think it's really fun, too, because you see so many of them staying in the U.S. now, where that was never the case before MLV existed. You get to watch them play in the fall and make a Final Four and then come here.
It's funny, you were talking about, Tuaninga, how she played at USC, and Lauren Bertolacci compared herself to Brad Keller, her head coach in college, saying that their styles are similar and that that's something she saw in Tuaninga when she decided to sign her and add her. Meanwhile, on the other side of the net, you have someone who actually coached Tuaninga in college, in Amy Pauley, who is an assistant at USC. As we take a timeout with a close second set and a championship rematch from last season, 8-7 Orlando in the second. Predictably, we have a close one for you. Indy won the first set. The Indy Ignite won the first set, and the Orlando Valkyries are up 8-7 here in set 2. Let's take a look at our MLV Player of the Week. We believe it's her birthday?
It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Leah.
What a great way to celebrate your birthday, by being crowned as the Player of the Week in Major League Volleyball. February 6th against Orlando. Had her 4th 20-kill match this season. Edmond has been a fantastic contributor to Major League Volleyball over the last few years.
Yeah, it's been so much fun to watch her career and how she's translated from Kentucky, now in Atlanta.
And an ace serve for Hannah Maddox. We have the 2 best serving teams in the league. Orlando is first in aces per set. Indy is second in that category.
And conversely, on the other side, both teams really good at passing, so it helps when you have aggressive serving in your own gym because it rises the level of play of your passers.
Such a great point. We haven't seen Natalie Foster yet tonight, I don't believe. Usually you would notice she comes in, starts at middle oftentimes, but will come in when she's not starting as a service sub.
And a lot of times going to run back there, too.
Typically, you'd expect it to happen that way when she checks in. Maddox with a back row swing. Scott takes the second touch, and she takes it well. What an assist by the libero, Elena Scott. It's De Beer, her college teammate, with a kill.
It's a beautiful out-of-system ball. De Beer has done such a better job this match hitting out of system. So I mean, that said, it doesn't get much better than that. Moving forward into the right corner, pushes it back with their hands. Former setter, you expect that out of Elena Scott every time.
She looked like a former setter there, and also, I would imagine, some pretty high degree of chemistry on those out-of-system sets with DeBeer.
Yeah, two players that played together for their 4 years at Louisville. It's kind of an unspoken connection. They talk about in serve receive how they barely even have to communicate because they just know each other so well and how they play.
Everything happening inside the 10-foot line. And after a little bit of congestion, Teeler is off the mark.
Yeah, that play was just ugly from start to finish, but that's also one thing Indy's been focused on. Head coach Bertolacci talked about during their loss to San Diego, the number one thing was just calming the chaos, making a good first and second contact.
Teeler one-on-one left side. They can't find her, and she keeps sending volleyballs down.
Yeah, Brie Kelly's in a perfect position to make that play, but man, that ball's coming off of Teeler's hands fast.
She's in double figures now. Teeler, 10 kills. Had 9 in the first set. Block is there, and that's what we saw a lot of in the first set. We saw 5 stuff blocks from Indy in the first.
Yeah, Indy was all over the front court. I mean, defensively, they were just unstoppable, especially when Ajani Teeler and Lydia Martin are playing next to each other like they are right now. It's been really difficult for Orlando to get a ball over on the outside.
That service long from Anna DeBeer. You made a point earlier. I do want to continue to monitor when you have the best 2 serving teams in the league in terms of just their ace numbers and 2 very good passing teams. Which of those wins out as the night goes along? Very fascinating. To Aninga to member Mena. Brown swats it over to Aninga, showing all of her creativity, connecting with Teeler.
Come on, that shot's almost unfair. The angles that Ajani Teeler is able to hit are unbelievable. This is a great look at it. Orlando's giving her so much line to hit. She not only hits it, but she sneaks it right down the sideline.
Over on 2, Hannah Pukis with a kill.
And that's a really smart decision because Lydia Martin, a middle for Indy's serving. I mean, she's playing back row, so there's no libero in. Really good time to do that.
4th kill of the season for Pukis, her first of the night, filling in for Shampoo at setter. Oh, they finally got Teeler. She has been nearly perfect tonight.
That's a better setup for Orlando. They're able to get 2 blockers up and not leave her that hole or one-on-one, but where she's burying balls cross court.
Off the block and out. What's your take on why they've managed to get Teeler, or how they've managed to get Teeler one-on-one so often?
Yeah, I think it's because Tuning is a great situational setter, so she knows in what situation where the opposing middle is going to maybe take a step with the outside, so they'll be late on Teeler, or they're just pushing the tempo, and that's resulted in one-on-ones.
Chimay using the hands for the Orlando point.
And one area for Orlando that they've got to find more production is that right side, especially with Brittany Abercrombie out, who's one of the top scorers in all of MLV. They got to have point production right over there.
Back row attack for Chimay. First touch was loose, but Scott saves it. In transition, a faster tempo to get to Maddox. What a great job of transitioning for Orlando. That'll take us to a timeout with Orlando up by 3. Hannah Maddox getting back up and ready to the net after the scramble and punishing Indy there. We are back in Indy. Johnny Taylor had 9 first set kills, quickly in double figures for Indy.
She is just doing a phenomenal job on the right side, and she's hitting Orlando from all over. It's been in the front court and the back row. What's made Taylor so difficult to stop is she's hitting with so much range. She's slicing it inside the block when it's one-on-one or a seam, but she's also hitting the line incredibly well, which has been the #1 thing she's been working on.
Her numbers tonight have been fantastic. However, for Indy as a team, they passed 57% in system in the first set, just 28%, half of that pretty much in the second set. Both teams hitting under 100 in the second set. But in the defensive struggle, it's been Orlando taking the advantage in the second, down by a set after Taylor's phenomenal first set. Member Mena with a miss, and it's a 4-point margin coming off the timeout.
And that's a miss that's so close that you're almost okay with, because Member Mena is really trying to target that outside line.
Maddox takes a crack at it, and Orlando pushes further ahead, 7-2 run.
And some changes on Indy's side. You see Nisei Havili coming into set, as well as Cameron Hanna on the outside.
But Indy has to put a stop to it here in the second set. Orlando is up by 5. And they've ramped up their serving in this set, and it's the pressure they've put has allowed Hannah Maddox to rise to the occasion here in the second set.
And Hannah Maddox has been great throughout the entire match. She's already got 9 kills and been really good from the service line. They're also using her from everywhere. Because they're without Charity Looper and Brittany Abercrombie, they've had to rely on Hannah Maddox just a little bit more than they normally would. She's getting set a lot more often in the back row especially, and that's been something that's been key for them tonight in finding the floor.
7 of the last 9 points for Maddox and the Valkyries, the defending champions. Of course, last year, Maddox was a part of the Vegas Thrill in her first year with her new team. Cameron Hanna fresh into the match. She's rejected.
Big stuff right out of the gates. Don't let that attacker that just came in gain any confidence. Beautifully set up by Pukas and a good finish from Kelly.
Havili going back to Cameron Hanna. Diving play by Shimei. But the other Hanna, they were teammates last year in Vegas. Cameron Hanna and Hannah Maddox. It's Hannah Maddox with the kill.
Another big swing from the outside. Maddox just going off right now for Orlando.
Orlando with 4 second set blocks. The more dominant blocking team has had the edge in each of the first 2 sets. Taylor Landfair is checking in now to serve for Indy. Played collegiately at Minnesota and Nebraska. Now Landfair takes a swing. Big dig from Pusic. Going back to Maddox. Oh, a misfire on the over dig. Kelly thought about it, and it dropped down to the court for a dig kill.
And that's just a miscommunication. Everything about that looked like Brie Kelly was taking a swing on it. She faked out her own teammates. How about Taylor Landfair stepping in and getting 2 massive digs in the back row?
And the second one goes down for a kill for Landfair. The nation's top volleyball stars are heading to Orlando as Major League Volleyball will hold the second All-Star match in league history, and you can be there. Tickets are now on sale for the historic contest on Saturday, March 28th, which will be broadcast live on CBS and Paramount Plus. Get your tickets now by visiting provolleyball.com/All-Star 2026.
A lot of familiar faces out there that we're seeing on the court today. We have Hannah Maddox, who was an All-Star last year, also Kaz Brown for Orlando. And then Abercrombie, Looper, and Champu, all three players that are out for them as well, all-stars. The Indy Ignite, Lekator Member-Mena, who didn't actually play in the game, but did a really good job earning that right along with the Johnny Teeler.
She was on the broadcast doing an interview, Member-Mena, during the match. I remember that. Playing some dodgeball back there with Chimay behind the serve receive. She had a chuckle after the point.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge, AJ.
It's been an adventure on some of these overdigs for Kelly, but this time she makes it work. Had to peel herself off the court and finished.
And not very pretty, but Kelly gets it done this time and doesn't fake out her teammates, commits to it, and takes a strong swing.
And the result, a 7-point difference in the set. Maddox. De Beer. Back to Maddox, covered by Kelly. Landfair handles that first touch well. Cameron Hanna bounces one.
Big swing from Cameron Hanna. When you have a player that checks in off the bench and has a really big swing like that, it injects so much momentum onto your side. Indy now has to feed off of that for the last few points of the set.
That's smashed by De Beer.
And De Beer's a player that's never going to quit. It doesn't matter if she's down 2 points, up 10 points, down 10 points. She will fight until the end of every set. She's got that look in her eye. She'll go off.
Indy's making a move. That is Kara Cressy into the match. First round pick out of Louisville.
Strong swing from Cressy on that one. Now Indy just within 4. This is where tough serving becomes really important. Blake Moeller on the back line. She mixes it short to deep. So for Orlando, they have to be ready for a short serve.
Look at the front row right now. Oh, it just drops in. Orlando is melting a little bit. At the moment, they're still up by 3, but a timeout for the Valkyries.
Well, that's exactly what Blake Moeller does. She throws in a short serve almost every single time. That's something that, as a passing unit, you have to go in knowing, and you have to talk about before every point. Because even though you might have passed it well all match so far, she's going to continue to do it. If you're not ready for it, that's exactly what will happen. A miscommunication, and you give the other team a lot of energy and momentum.
And we've seen 2 pure campfires in the last several points with that overdig that was a fail and then that short serve as well. Orlando, though, has played so well in this set. They've built up such a cushion. They're still up 3.
And this is where Orlando just has to find a way to finish. It might not be the starting lineup they had hoped to put out there, but they've done so well this set in finding ways to stay ahead, and now Indy just clawing back.
Indy was down by 7 and the 4-0 run to make it interesting, and they're already up by a set, so applying some match pressure. I'm going to say Indy's presence in the net right now. Louisville, Penn State, national championship reunion from a couple of years ago. It's 5 straight for the Ignite.
This is what Kara Cressy does best. She stands at 6'6". She is a massively physical presence over there. When she's able to get all the way out, look how stifling it is when she gets her hands over.
Indy putting the subs in, getting the desired result. A block touch from Cressy. Havili in at center. This time De Beer is denied.
That's a really big momentum play for Orlando. Bree Kelly does a nice job getting all the way to her right side to close it up.
Maddox, you've called it out, has been an effective server tonight. There's another one from Hannah Maddox.
Maddox going away from her classic topspin serve. This one's more of a hybrid, so it's not a float serve, it's not a topspin, it's somewhere between the two and has weird side spin on it that makes it super tough to pass.
And the result, a set point in Indy timeout, and Hannah Maddox already with 3 aces. She has already stepped behind the service line 10 times tonight, so going on some runs for Orlando with 3 different aces in the match for Maddox. To me, clearly, this is a more effective serve for her than that pure topspin.
Yeah, and sometimes a topspin can be really high error. You know, it's a high risk, high reward kind of serve. But this one, sometimes the topspin's a little bit easier to pass if it's not coming at full velocity, which a lot of factors go into that, how you toss it, where your approach is. But with this kind of hybrid serve, it's kind of automatic coming off her hand right now. And as a passing unit, it's really difficult because it's coming fast, it has weird spin. You don't have enough time to talk about who's going to play it.
And she's top 10 in the league this year in aces. Oh, another one. Maddox sends it to the floor with back-to-back aces to close out the second set. Impressive stuff from Hannah Maddox, trying to fill the void point scoring with key players out like Charity Looper, Brittany Abercrombie, and Shampoo Goodpard for Orlando. Fun match so far. Orlando winning the second set 25-20 after Indy took the first set by 4. And with Hannah Puka stepping into the starting lineup tonight, she's standing by with Emily.
Hannah, big response from your team in set 2. What'd you guys do better in that one?
Yeah, we really tried to clean up the unforced errors we had and turn around the scramble plays. They play a really, really quick game, and so we don't have to match that. So when it comes back on our side, just taking a breath, slowing it down, and running our offense.
Defense certainly picked up. What'd you see from your side that improved the most?
Yeah, I thought our middles were huge on that. They were making great reads, great stops, and it's really easy to play behind them.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Amy Pauley has praised Hannah Pukas for the way she's conducted herself as the backup to Shampoo the last couple of years. Now getting her opportunity to shine with Shampoo injured. That jammed finger in Orlando got out of the jam in the second set to even this match up.
Volleyball has been placed in 3, 2, 1, go. Volleyball is missing. Where is Echo's volleyball? Come on, crowd, help them out. So Casey appears to be the closest. But now Justin runs into Pepper herself. Another contestant. Everyone might suggest turning the other way. There we go. Jill headed in the right direction. Here she goes. Help her out, Fisher's Event Center. How close is she? Hot or cold? There she is. Tonight's winner is Jill. Congratulations, you're taking home 2 Indy Ignite tickets to an upcoming match courtesy of PNC Day and Pepper.
Little lives should be reserved for the few. The finest cuisine should always be remembered. And looking good shouldn't just be for the rich and famous. Admire, we believe that real life deserves real good, and we work hard to bring more of it. Here, quality meets value, and selection meets savings. So good life is always within reach. We do more to make life a good deal better. Admire.
Presented by Guardian Angel Restoration. You know them, you love them. They break the heat. Welcome to the court, your Fire Stage.
in an MLV championship rematch. We've seen a close one as expected. Both teams hitting the red zone in both sets. Indy the first set, Orlando the second set win. Hannah Maddox with double-figure kills for Orlando. Nia Chimay stepping in for Abercrombie with 3 blocks already for the Valkyries. Najani Teeler has led the way from the start for Indy with 12 kills and 381. Like a tour member, Mena has been kept in check, on the other hand, by the Valkyries. And as was Indy as a team, Emily, in the second set, 0-26.
Yeah, that drop in efficiency, a lot of that came from because Indy wasn't passing well. Orlando really upped the service pressure. We saw 3 aces from Hannah Maddox alone. The key for Indy is going to be focusing on the pass, and Orlando can't let up an aggressive play.
And who can work their way through these big blocks? 8 for each team so far. As a result, both teams hitting in the low ones. It's all even at 1 set apiece. Two of the best in Major League Volleyball. First place, Indy. Fourth place, Orlando. But defending champion, Orlando, are tangling right now. And they've split the first 2 sets, so we know we're going at least 4. We got some volleyball going late into the night on a Friday in Fishers, Indiana. AJ Cannell, Emily Eman, this MLV broadcast on Roku. If you missed it off the top, Orlando is without the services of their regular season MVP in the league last year, Brittany Abercrombie, playoff MVP, Shampoo Goodpart at setter, as well as one of their key additions, Charity Looper. So some big absences for Orlando. As Indy takes the first point, and Moeller, who's had some success as a server, is back there once again.
He's throwing in the short serve right and left, and Orlando's still having trouble passing it.
The 9th block for Indy of the match. That one by DeBeer. But this time, Hannah Maddox using the block for an Orlando point.
Hannah Maddox has such a high contact point that allows her to hit with a lot of range. So because she can get up so high, she can turn it cross court with her thumb or turn it with her shoulders back down line really well.
These teams historically have just been so closely separated. 7th all-time meeting, they're 3-3. Even boil it down to just sets played, 14-13. Orlando is the all-time advantage. Coming into the night, they just had 9 points all-time separating the two teams when they met up. Maddox converts that one.
Orlando's been able to calm the chaos just a little bit on those overpasses, take control of them a little bit better.
DeBeer hitting right side, converts, and we'll go back to serve.
That's a beautiful set for Mia Tuininga. She looks like she's going to set this ball outside and sets over her shoulder for the right side set.
Good coverage by Pusic. Orlando scrapping in this point. That time in transition, Teeler had an opening. And look at the selling.
It's just so much fun every time they're out on the court together, especially when they're doing things like this. The block is taking away so much of her line, and Teeler just slices it right in, takes a little bit of speed off. So great. They're a great duo.
That is a roof. How are they going to celebrate that one?
This is why Kara Cressy got the start in this set. She's a much bigger presence than what we see from Lydia Martin. Her alongside Ajani Teeler is a big block over on that side.
When the other team is playing with that infectious level of joy, is that its own way of sort of a demoralizing force for the opponent?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, it's the worst. When you see the other team just having fun and celebrating and you just can't get things to sort out on your own side, it's probably one of the reasons why Amy Pauley's taking a timeout right now. They need to reset over on the Valkyrie side.
It's 6-2 already. Indy, who did drop that second set in this match that's tied at 1. But we want to remind you, we had some breaking news tonight in Major League Volleyball. And let's revisit this trade. Morgan Hens, 2-time Libero of the Year, the only Libero of the Year in league history, is going to Grand Rapids in exchange for Elena Ogilvy, outstanding career for Ogilvy as well, and a first-round pick. How about, we didn't even mention the aspect of Stanford in that trade, a Stanford for Stanford swap.
Yeah, and it just shows you that Stanford turns out good liberos, and Morgan Hens being one of the best, not just in this league, but in the entire country. I mean, she was an alternate on the Paris Olympic roster. She's one of the best players in MLV, not just, you know, liberos don't get enough credit in general, but when you just think about level of play and how she's played over the last 3 years, she really is elite. I will say, her numbers have been down this season, and she hasn't been the libero that we know Morgan Hens to be.
But I think Grand Rapids, a team that if you look back, they were able to upset their way into the league championship in 2024. Ever since then, the Rise have struggled the last couple of years. They're down toward the bottom of the standings this year as Schwann beaches that one over. And they're looking for a spark, and they're like, we'll take Morgan Hens.
It's like the best libero, sure. Yeah. And, you know, and that's one of those things where, you know, maybe Hens is struggling right now, but she'll figure it out again. She'll get back on the court and start dominating.
They say Tuininga got that one up on the pancake, but it's a point for the Valks anyway.
And this is new in MLV this year where you can't have mid-rally challenges. So if Orlando was going to challenge that, it would have been at the end of the rally, but they won the point, so no need. One of the reasons why they got rid of that. So you just play through and no need for a break and play.
Anyway, it's a great example of why you'd rather see them play through.
Yeah.
Coming off of that timeout, Orlando had won 3 points in a row until the miss with Cressy to the line now. Ineffective serve, and Member Mena takes advantage. And now a timeout on the floor with Indy ahead by 3. We're all even at 1 set apiece in this championship rematch from Indy. Tonight's Major League Volleyball match on Roku is brought to you by Franklin, by Ren Athletics, and by Spalding. The second of 4 matchups this year, scheduled at least. There could always be that 5th. There was last year in the postseason between Indy and Orlando, 2 really entertaining teams to watch. And we're seeing a whole lot of reasons why, even with some players out due to injury. We didn't even mention yet that Kayla Lund, who's been really important this year on the outside for Indy, is also still out with a leg injury, as that's punched through by Brie Kelly. She wants the contact. We haven't seen a challenge yet, as the call is out. Amy Pauly's going to pull the trigger on a challenge.
Orlando is challenging a block touch.
Right away, Brie Kelly seemed very confident that there was a touch on that ball. With the cameras that we have, all 22 of them, you don't get away with much in this league.
That is true. MLV replay system, rivaled by really no other. And we're getting a look quick.
After review, there is a touch on the block. Orlando will win the point.
Yeah, that right thumb of Blake Moeller inside.
I mean, that's replay at its best. You get the call right, and you get it right quickly. And now we're playing. And the officials so far, Devaney McClarty, Wesley Radigan, done a great job. That was the first challenge even necessary. Maddox hits the back line for Orlando.
Hannah Maddox has been so good attacking from the back row. When you're attacking back there, you have about an extra 10, 11 feet of vision that you can see.
Moeller figured it out, twisting through that swing. Didn't look pretty, but it worked for Blake Moeller.
A lot of times it's about how you adjust to the set that you're given, and great adjustment up there for Moeller to put it down.
And Moeller read that one. Block Brown. Let's dig Elena Scott. Winninga serves it up for member Mena. Pushit saves it. Contested at the net. Brown. Read by Teeler. That's a net on member Mena, no matter what the result of the play was. It was a net first.
And what a fun rally, though. Like those scrappy plays up at the net. First, Elena Scott gets a great one, and then a good hand from Courtney Schwann as well over on Orlando's side. Both sides, you can see the defensive intensity really picked up. I mean, they are laying all out for everything. There's that great one from Scott in the back row.
It's a battle of wills out there. Over on 2 for Tuaninga.
And Tuaninga doesn't dump very often, just about once or twice a set, but she's really tactical about when she's going up to do it. Great time with no blocker up in front of her.
Remember, Mena misses the serve. Interesting for her, hitting negative tonight. In the last 2 matches coming in, only 119. A little bit of a skid right now for Lecator member Mena.
And that's been something that Coach Bertolacci talked to us about. She needs her outsides to score better and more efficiently.
And she knows she has players that are more than capable of that. Spear couldn't terminate again, and as a result, point for Brown and Orlando.
And the outsides for Indy did a great job for the first about 15 points of this match, but since then, Orlando's defended them much better, getting their block in good positions.
All even at 10 in the third set, and 1-1 in sets. That's just so good from Scott, but DeVere is off the mark with a swing.
That ball just coming a little fast fast off of Alana Scott's arms. The Beaver was forced to speed up her approach. Sails this one out.
Moeller on the slide.
It's a great run from Blake Moeller. This is a player that's known for going off of 1 foot behind the setter. Really great transition play for Indy, able to get this ball up. Good pass from Scott, leads to a great swing.
Scott, the first team All-American 3 different times in college. At Louisville, where Kara Cressy also competed and starred.
There's that slide again, giving Orlando trouble. It's fast tempo behind the setter, so the blockers are just late to it for Orlando's side.
Short serves from Moeller. Not a good enough touch there as member Mena is trying to salvage it off the block. So Orlando will send Kaz Brown to the line. Midway point of the match, and it's all tied. There's the back row swing that Indy's looking for from member Mena.
Great swing for member Mena. And that connection, it's really fast between setter and hitter. That's something you have to work on constantly because there's not much room for error there.
Into Indy to serve. That's pure.
And some more good celebrations to Inning on their side.
I'm wondering how many of those they have.
I think she's got every dance move possible in her back pocket. There's a gritty double time.
Can't break out another one quite yet. Oh, they can't now. Cressy crushed it.
It's a big swing from Kara Cressy, and you could tell just how pumped up she was about it. She hasn't had too many great looks tonight. This was a great opportunity. Free ball situation, middle blocker nowhere to be found. Cressy puts it down.
That is rocketed by Naya Chamay, the second-year pro out of SMU.
Yeah, just Chamay's 5th kill of the match. They haven't had too much production from the right side, but when she's taken big swings, they've paid off.
Reminded by Amy Pauley, she's had to adjust after only switching to right side hitter in the middle of her college career. Adjust more to that position. Another one for Cressy. You know, to go back to Indy for a second, it's just, we'll take the break, but just the level of showmanship that they're able to offer in addition to winning volleyball. That last segment was a display of it. It's quite impressive to watch. Timeout on the floor with Indy in front by 3 in the set.
Showmanship.
There's the league leader in assists, Mia Tuaninga, who set the tone this year for Indy.
And she's having fun while doing it. That's one of the reasons why Indy is so much fun to watch. She runs a fast tempo, aggressive offense. Then she'll also make sure that the other team knows it, cheering after every single point super hard. And before the points too.
Whenever possible.
Yeah, you can always catch her dancing or singing or something fun.
Cressy has had an impact since checking in.
Kara Cressy has been phenomenal since checking into this match. She was using kind of just one substitution role earlier on in the last set, and now she's dominating both sides of the ball here in set 3.
It's actually the first match she's played this year as a sub. Her previous 3 appearances were all starts. And she's adjusted well, I would say, with a 4 for 6 showing and 2 blocks since checking in.
Well, it gives your team so much momentum, too, when someone coming in off the bench is crushing it. Everyone's pumped for them, so they're pumped all around.
Fusion of energy. De Beer behind the line. Dukas bumps it to Schwan. Let's see if Member Mena can get going more.
Member Mena going back to her bread and butter shot. That's going high off the block to get the kill. Because she's undersized, she's forced to have to be more crafty and use the block to her advantage like she did there.
Thumb down for Courtney Schwan.
Beautiful shot from Schwan. She doesn't necessarily have the heaviest arm, but she's really smart and crafty herself, able to slice the ball really well.
Taylor again showing her range. She's gotten better hitting line. And Indy's up 4.
Taylor's been a bit quieter this set, but mostly because Indy hasn't had to rely on her like they did the first 2.
She had 9 first set kills, 2 off a league record. On the slide, Muller is blocked.
That ball was just a little bit awkward coming off of tuning, and you could tell the connection not quite there. I think maybe a little bit of confusion too, because Taylor's coming in the back row for a D-ball and Muller on the slide. It's 2 hitters in the same zone. Blocker's just committed with it.
We were talking this morning about how you don't really see the slide as much at this level for that reason, because the D-ball is just so available, especially when it's somebody like Taylor. The net has played a factor tonight on a few of these, and this time it helps out. Natalie Foster checking in for the first time. The league leader in aces. That's her 25th of the season. More than double anyone else in the league. Often starts it middle, but can come in as a serving sub when she's not starting. And she can swing the set. She might be doing it right now. A timeout, Indy.
This is such a great use of Natalie Foster because we haven't seen her in this match so far, so that hasn't allowed Indy to get comfortable passing her serves. But when they needed it, Orlando went right to her, and she's causing a massive rift in the lead that Indy had.
That is the advantage of using her in this way. You can really choose selectively when you want to use her, put her in at the perfect time and try and flip the set.
And honestly surprised we hadn't seen her so far in this match so far, but honestly Orlando had been serving so well to begin with. But now you add Foster back into that lineup serving. It's so difficult to defend this, and I do say defend because it's barely coming in like a normal serve. It's kind of like an attack.
How is she twice as good at collecting aces as anybody else in the whole league?
Well, it's a few things. One, her contact point is so high, so the ball's kind of coming straight down at you. Then it's the speed at which she hits it. She hits it so fast it doesn't give the opponent time to call the ball in those seams. And then also it has really funky spin on it, so it catches air pockets and it moves really weird.
Got to live with some errors, though, when you're attacking like she does. And remarkably, for the amount of aces that she collects, she still has more aces than service errors on the season. And we'll sub out now with Indy back up by 2. Now serving sub Emma Holter out of the University of Texas in there for the Ignite. Different look than Foster behind the line for sure. But can help out in the backcourt. And it's De Beer. And it's a joust won by Indy. But a net violation. Late call. Indy was already in full celebration mode.
This is something that you can challenge, but Blake Muller came down off of that block just on the net.
Well, that should be an easy one to decide whether to challenge or not, right? You know whether you hit the net. They make up for it, though, with Teeler.
And that was massive for Indy to get that point right back, because during the last play, they had so much momentum that just got completely crushed from that net fault. Now Blake Mueller again back on the service line. Watch that short serve. Orlando has to be ready for it this time.
That was the 15th kill for Teeler. She went a little too short right there, and Orlando is back within one.
And Indy's got some passing reinforcements. Emma Halter, the hometown kid from here in Indy, to shore up the passing rotation between DeBeer and Scott.
No touch, tied at 21 here in the red zone in the third.
We're back on this seesaw. The Ignite at one point were up 19-15, but it was a massive Orlando run that brought them both in the red zone at the same time.
Ninth service error there for Orlando. Indy's had 10. Tough to handle Tuaninga's jump serve, and it gives the Ignite a chance to score. Tuaninga this set. Teeler is dug by Chimay. Point Orlando on another net violation.
That's just undisciplined play up at the net for Indy. They have to do a better job playing disciplined ball, staying off the net, and not allowing Orlando free points.
And a Pukis to server. More from Cressy.
Big one and done play from the young gun for Indy. This high contact point, she's able to hit some crazy angles as well. This one nearly goes by the 10-foot line, and a really good pass from Scott on that ball. That was a really difficult serve.
Muscled through by Ajani Teeler.
When things get tight, expect Indy to give Ajani Teeler the ball. She's been their go-to attacker for the last 14 months. The Ignite will continue to rely on her in a situation like this where they need points, trying to close out a set.
That was the highest leverage point of the night so far, right there, with a chance to tie the set again or put Indy in front by 2, force a timeout, and a set point for the Ignite now, 24-22.
And what I really liked about that play specifically was everyone was trying to better the ball. So you see the first contact there. Here's this first contact. Scott gets a good one. Tuaninga, a little bit tight, but she's able to manage it. And the ball's too low for Teeler, but she speeds up her approach in order to get it done.
The net and down, and Indy using another clutch ace. We've seen aces end the last couple of sets. This time Indy gets its 5th, and DeBeer gets her 3rd. The Ignite take the 2-1 lead. The bench loves it. Indy wins the 3rd set.
Everybody say hello to our contestant, Jennifer, in the pick today. Now, Jennifer, here's how we play. Across the board, an Indy Ignite player is going to come up there, and your job is to tell us if the next
this has been, look at this. Every team has been in the 20s all 3 sets. So this has been close. It's been a championship rematch, and the little things can make the difference. Like when you put in a substitute that steps up. Kara Cressy.
Kara Cressy was massive during that set for Indy. She went in for Lydia Martin, who was struggling on both sides of the ball. We didn't see Cressy against San Diego. She's delivering tonight. This is why Coach Bertolacci has so much trust in all of her middles, because she knows that even if someone doesn't start out on the court, she can pull someone in off the bench and they'll have the kind of impact that Kara Cressy has had so far today. 5 kills, hitting over 600.
Coming in to replace Lydia Martin in the middle of the match. Martin entered the night as the league leader in blocks per set, and last year was the leader in kill percentage. It just shows you the depth that Indy has, that Martin tonight takes a seat and Kara Cressy comes in and swings the match.
This is something we've seen Coach Bertolacci do this season. It's more of just a feel thing for her of which middle she's starting. Some of it's the matchup thing. But it's also because she has the confidence that whoever she puts out there, she feels good about.
That one connected with Kusich up high on the swing by De Beer. And a point for the Ignite.
That's a play that Orlando just has to make. I mean, it's a chaotic play happening on Indy's side. Johnny Taylor just goes up with one hand hoping she gets it over. The block has to be better for the Valkyries.
Schwann against the triple. And Chimay is blocked. Member Mena and Cressy combining for the double block over there. And something to note again, you know, with the injuries, Shampoo and Abercrombie and Looper all out. Like Indy has the luxury of finding the right matchups in the right lineup. Orlando is right now kind of dependent on who's healthy.
Yeah, it's just been a question of, okay, who do I got today? Here's who I'm going to throw out for Amy Pauley. And tonight, you know, that was Courtney Schwann on the outside, Hannah Maddox, and then Chimay right side. Great put down from the Valkyries. But it's really just been, okay, who's available and where can I put them? And I think Charity Looper being out was a complete shock to us. It seemed like a shock to the team as well, not having her available. Because talking to Bertolacci, her keys to come in were slow down Abercrombie and slow down Looper, and they did that before the match even started.
Can we give you, I think it's always fun once in a while, I know nobody cares about us at all, but to give you kind of the inside look at, so we show up, right, to morning practice, which is called Serve and Pass, and the coaches give us insider info that we need to not say until the match starts. So we show up first to Orlando's practice and we learn who's out. Then we went to Indy's practice after that, and exactly what you just said happened. The keys to the match for Indy revolved around players who we knew were out, and we sit there with a straight face.
You say, that sounds like a good plan, Coach. That's what you say every time. Yep.
It's certainly worked out for Indy, though, so far against a shorthanded Orlando team.
And that's what happens in a long season. You know, some players are going to be out, whether it's injury. We've seen a lot of players out with illness recently, too. And you never really know until game time who's going to step out on the court for your opponent.
Chimay throws it in. Amy Pauley said she feels like she needs to wrap her team in bubble wrap right now, the way things are going.
Yeah, and a lot of Orlando's mishaps this season, being 5-4, being 4th in the league, it's just been because they haven't had consistency, because they haven't been healthy. It's difficult to find a rhythm when you haven't had the same players out on the court.
Especially at the setting position. Taylor had an opportunity, a good read, but whiffs on it.
Yeah, that's just one you just got to shake off, move on to the next play.
He's had plenty of good plays to look back on so far tonight. Already 18 kills for Taylor. Good pass, member Mena going to attack. And no touch. Point Valkyries. But the buzzer comes in and Indy is going to challenge.
It seemed like you could hear that touch.
Indy is challenging that there was a block touch.
At least I thought I heard a block touch initially.
See if you're right. Put it to the test. MLV replay system.
Yeah, seen it live, it didn't look like it hit Nia Shimei, but maybe Kaz.
After review, there is a block touch. Indy will get the point.
Yeah, going Kaz Brown, that inside hand. Or outside hand, rather.
I'm going to say you must have heard it then. It was there.
Yeah, we're close enough.
No mistaking that result. Teeler off the block and down.
And Teeler just continuing to have an awesome night for Indy. We've seen her struggle over the last month or so, kind of to the start to the season. Efficiency not really where it has been last year. She came in off the bench against San Diego and ended up doing well, but before then, I struggled to put down a lot of balls, but that's not the case tonight.
Two middles into the joust. Member Mena takes a cut. Maddox races underneath. This is a fun-looking point. Schwan hits inside. Swatted by Member Mena. A creative finish for Lecator Member Mena.
Member Mena is so creative up front. She only stands at 5'8", so she has to be able to use the block well, mix up her shots. She has such good vision to see what's in front of her and play right off it.
Member Mena, De Beer, Tuaninga, Teeler, all under 6 feet tall. All very effective in the Indy lineup. Maddox comes soaring in, but is off the mark.
I'd like to see Orlando actually use Maddox a little bit more from the back row. It was really effective during the first 2 sets, and they've gone away from it, but needing to establish that as a threat again because it was really efficient.
Overpass. And it's out. And Indy, who scraped their way to a 3rd set win, now hoping to steamroll Orlando in the 4th, a shorthanded team. We'll see, though, if the Valkyries have a reply. Technical timeout. Indy Ignite 8, Orlando Valkyries 4. Championship rematch from last year. The teams met up in Vegas, and Orlando won 3-1. Johnny Teeler, though, has been the headliner tonight, hitting 400 with 19 kills. That's her best of the season.
This is what you want from your top players. You want them to continue to get better as the season goes on, and Teeler really finding her rhythm here.
She had 9 kills in the first set. We talked about how that was 2 off a league record. Done 3 times by Brittany Abercrombie and once by Reagan Cooper of 11 kills in a set. There's a slide kill from Muller. Worth noting, by the way, you know who has the league record for kills in a match? That's Teeler. She had 31 last year against Omaha.
Just insane to think about the numbers that Johnny Teeler has been putting up over the last year or so and doing similar things tonight.
The 31 kills, 35 points were both league records that have held up. A match last year for Teeler against the Omaha Supernovas. It is Nia Shimei executing, and now we'll go back to serve. 3 years at Wyoming, 2 at SMU, where she was all ACC first team. Tell you what, the numbers might not end up looking great regardless for member Mena, but she's worked her way back into this match.
Well, and for Mena Mena as well, she does so many other things for this team. She's consistently in the passing lineup. She's also good defensively, so she might not be having the best offensive night, but she's contributing everywhere. That's an answer that Orlando desperately needed, especially getting member Mena off the service line with a really tough ball.
Bowler. Chimay into the block. Kukas takes a cut.
And we talked about ways to improve this offense, AJ, and you mentioned you'd like to see Hannah Bucas take a few more swings. And sometimes the margins in these matches are just 1 or 2 points, and that's a big one.
The thought, too, is like, she's a lefty. I mean, that's one, as good as Shampoo is, that's one advantage that you have when Bucas is in there. Teeler got one, I think got a piece of the tape as well as some hands, and down for Teeler.
And Tador Pusic with a phenomenal dig earlier in that rally, but then just can't handle the heat that's coming from Ajani Teeler.
Yeah, Pusic is world class, 17 years in the pros out of Serbia. Teeler, though, with her 20th kill. What's the key to executing against the short serve?
Yeah, it's really important to just talk about it beforehand. Really, that's the biggest thing. When you know that it's coming from a server that shows it often, your service team has to be ready for it and stay on your toes. You can get anywhere on the court when it's coming. You just need to know that it's coming.
Orlando stayed composed on that point, got the kill from Brown. Teeler won at number 21. Reminder, each team gets 1 challenge per set this year, but if you win the challenge, you retain it. So Indy still has a challenge at its disposal in this set. Deciding not to use one there. Kara Cressy continues. Since checking in, she's just been so effective now, 6 for 9.
And Cressy doing such a good job on both sides of the ball, hitting over 600 like you mentioned, but also 3 blocks up there. So doing well offensively and stifling defensively.
Second straight first-round pick for Indy out of Louisville. It was De Beer last year. That just feels unstoppable. Smoked by Teeler.
It's been unstoppable all night. Anytime that Teeler on the right side has been one-on-one or there's been a hole in the block, she has been ripping it straight down to the floor. She hasn't changed anything. Orlando knows that she's going to rip it there, but it's one thing to know it's coming, and it's another thing to get a body behind it.
It's just all, at a certain point, just becomes so intimidating, I got to imagine.
Well, yeah, especially as a defender. Like when you see a player that hits with as much power as Teeler does and you see a wide open net, it's a little bit scary when you're back there. Like I could get railed right now.
Orlando puts Lindsay Vanderwade in for Hannah Maddox. Vanderwade, who played a little right side in their most recent match, is blocked. Orlando right now, they're dealing with the injuries. 3rd straight match without Abercrombie. 2nd straight match without Shampoo. They've dropped back-to-back 5 setters, and now it's in trouble here after this block.
Orlando just trying to find any kind of offensive rhythm that they can, any combination of players. Vanderwade, of course, coming in. But it's just been difficult for Orlando to find any consistency with players continuously rotating through the lineup.
Indy has had 2 separate 3-match winning streaks, the latest of which was snapped last match by San Diego, who has been surging. They started out 1-6. They've won 3 straight, and they get the benefit of some extra rest. We saw San Diego at the team hotel already. They're set to go to play Indy in a couple of days. They're already in town.
And bringing in some momentum from that reverse sweep, the first time ever in Mojo history that they had a reverse sweep, meaning they went down 0-2 and won the next 3. So Indy's got their work cut out for them on Sunday.
That was at Grand Rapids. And so San Diego just staying in the time zone. And getting ready for their match against Indy. 14-9, coming off the Orlando timeout. Tuaninga is in.
Are you kidding me? That ball sliced right inside. Oh my gosh.
Orlando couldn't believe it.
I mean, look at this coming off of Tuaninga's hand. It looks like it's going out, but man, it just drops right in. So great.
Having all the fun.
Yeah.
Another one on the tally for De Beer. That takes us to a technical timeout. Short-handed Orlando getting all it can handle from Indy, 16-9. Indy 16, Orlando 9, and I think we've tried to pay due respect to how injured Orlando is while still also realizing how well Indy is playing. And there's a reason the Ignite are in first place, and we've had a hard-fought match, a closely contested match. That third set could have gone either way, but once it went Indy's way, it kind of felt like they might do this in the fourth. Orlando, though, comes off the timeout, gets within 6.
This match also shows just how good Orlando can be. They're missing arguably 3 of their best players out on the court, and they're still hanging with this Indy team. Even if Indy wins right now, 3 of those sets were won just within a few points. You bring in Brittany Abercrombie, the leading scorer last season, back on the court. You bring in their starting setter in Shampoo, and then also Cherry Looper back in the lineup, and it's a different Orlando team.
This is a sport where there's such a domino effect. When you bring in someone like Abercrombie and the attention that she receives, that opens so many things up for other players out there. Teeler tacks on another. Punched through by Bree Kelly for Orlando. We've got to mention as well, they've done a great job keeping Kaz Brown under wraps. Brown, all-leaguer, back-to-back, and hitting 0 tonight.
And that was the biggest key coming in for Lauren Bertolacci for Indy, was slowing down the middles of Orlando, and they've done a really good job of that.
Kelly has been more effective, but to really stop a player like Brown has been really impressive. There's a block from Schwann.
There's a better movement on that left side block, knowing the middle wasn't with Schwann, and knowing Teeler has been ripping cross court. Schwann brought it in just a little bit more and got the stop.
Lucas goes back to Schwann, two-hands it, finds Tuaninga. And Teeler found herself close to the net and still converted.
Feels like everything that Teeler's touching right now is just turning to gold.
She's 23 for 41. Chimay, her counterpart, responds. Remember, Mena thunders it wide.
That ball just coming a little bit too fast for member Mena. The timing, that swing was just a little bit off to send it out. Some former Ignite players, Carly Scott and Grace Wade, looking on. Huge in building this team up last year to a second place finish.
Love to see that support.
Yeah. They were honored tonight as legends of the Ignite. So I would consider them legends, as you know, you're 2 years in.
When you're not even 2 years in, yeah, sure. Member Mena uses the block.
That's a much better connection between member Mena and Tuaninga there. This ball, it's coming a little bit faster, but member Mena sped up her approach and goes off the block.
Think about, for so many of these players, if this league, which I believe that it will, becomes what so many of us expect it to become. You know, imagine looking back all those years later and being able to say, as hustling over, Chimay can't retrieve it. I was playing in the first year of this league's history, et cetera, et cetera. That's just so cool.
It's awesome, and for so many of these players, that was one of the reasons why they wanted to play in the league. Yes, it's close to home. It's awesome your parents can come and watch, but it's really cool to be a part of something and create a culture, create a program, and create a league that's sustainable in the U.S. Because most of these players, pretty much all these players, none of them grew up watching professional volleyball because it wasn't accessible until the Olympics came along every 4 years. For them to have this opportunity in places and create that for the next generation, I know is what drives so many of them.
Johnny Taylor's gone off for 23. That's opened things up for the rest of the offense. They've spread it around enough to keep Orlando honest, and just so many wide open opportunities for different players as a result of Taylor's dominance.
And it's just been so impressive the way that Ajani Taylor's gotten better throughout this match. She's mixing up shots and Tuaninga spreading out the offense pretty well, but also knowing that if she needs a point, she can just go to Z wherever she is out on the court.
5 of the 10 kills from member Mena have come in this set, so she's really stepped up as the match has gone along on that left side. Great cover play by Chimay there. Now takes a swing. And she was isolated. The middle blocker couldn't get over, and Chimay took advantage.
That was a really good point right there for Orlando. Chimay gets a really good look on this right side attack. In system ball, one-on-one. She drills it right in.
Natalie Foster in as the service sub. They really need her right now, but Indy gets a good pass out of it. And they better the ball enough. No. Schwann into the net.
And that was a good serve from Foster, but it's right on Elena Scott's lap. I mean, she makes a good move for it, but it's right on the money, and that results in an Indy point after an error.
First opportunity side out against Foster. That's got to feel good for the Ignite as Halter checks in. Slide has been struggling tonight, as has Brown, but that one worked.
Orlando hasn't been able to score much at all on the right side of the court, whether it's been a middle on the slide or from their opposite. It was a great opportunity to get it going, but they're going to need a lot more of it if they want to come back.
Tuaninga picks Moeller.
Meanwhile, on the flip side for Indy, everything's working on the right side. Ajani Taylor's going off at opposite, and the slide, especially with Moeller back there, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't recall watching an MLV match in a while where a team has had that much success on that slide. But again, they've kind of had success with everything.
And here's where the short serve comes into play, because they're expecting Moeller to hit it short. Pusic runs up to try to take it, and it goes right off her hands and out of bounds because she overran it.
Now back to the short serve. Pusic handles that one. Lindsay Vanderweyde takes a cut. Anna De Beer is blocked.
Big move from Hannah Pukas on this ball. She gets her body right in line with the attacker's shoulders, and that straight on shot goes straight down.
Both teams with 14 stuff blocks. Emmy Klicka making her first match appearance, a late season addition last year on their championship roster. And a quick side out against her. Again, a middle behind the setter, this time Cressy.
With the efficiency that Indy runs this slide attack, Orlando's got to fix that moving forward.
And many chances now to put this away with Tuaninga, the first opportunity. Blast down, Bree Kelly.
It's a great answer right there. Bree Kelly will continue to take big swings no matter the score.
Chance for Indy to move a whole game in first place, ahead of Dallas. Teeler for the win. It would have been fitting, but it didn't happen there for Johnny Teeler.
Orlando with a late run, starting with good serves from the service line from Bucas.
Off the mark for Cressy. Wasn't going to be that easy, and even here with a boatload of match points going the other way at Indy's disposal. Credit Orlando for forcing them to use time.
Yeah, and what Orlando's doing really well is just keeping pressure on Indy. The attackers right now for the Ignite too, looks like they all just want to take the really big swing to finish it. That's led to some stuff blocks on Orlando's side. At the end of the day, yeah, you want the big kill to finish it, but you have to get the point down on the other side first to do it.
Okay, how many more points does Orlando need to win before your eyebrows raise a little bit?
2 more points in a row, and I'm saying, all right.
Okay. I think I'm with you. Still a 4-point cushion, which means 4 match points for Indy, and they have the advantage of being on serve receive in theory as well, with Bucas behind the service line. No good, and that does it. Indy goes to 2-0 this season in the championship rematch. They've already beaten Orlando twice after the Valkyries won the title against the Ignite in Indy's inaugural year. This one in 4.
I wouldn't say it was the prettiest match on either side. Indy just hit 162, which is well below their season average, but they managed to make up for it in defense. 14 stuff blocks on the night, very similar to what we saw the first time these two teams met. Indy just gets the better of them, and a Johnny Teeler, an absolute stud with a season-high 23 kills.
They took a reliable passing team out of their comfort zone as well. A depleted Orlando team at the moment. Johnny Teeler rising to the occasion. We're going to talk to her on the flip side. Back in a moment. The Indy Ignite take the final 2 sets and win in 4 behind a season high across the league, tying 27 points scored from Ajani Teeler, and she's standing by with Emily.
Ajani, Orlando really made you battle tonight, but what separated your team?
Yeah, we really were the aggressors the whole entire match, really not taking anything off our swings, and it made it really easy for us to get easier balls back, so it was a lot of good. It was good.
You had a season high 23 kills tonight. You found rhythm really early, 9 kills in that first set alone. How'd you do it?
Mia's an incredible setter, putting me in good positions all the time, and our coaching staff has been working with me a ton on footwork and stuff, so it's getting better, so I'm glad.
Every year or every match coming in, it feels like it's a question of who's going to be out in the starting lineup, and I know that's difficult to adjust to, but how has your team been able to adapt and still stay atop of the league even with mixing lineups?
I think it's really helpful for us just knowing that at any point anyone's going to play, and so it keeps everyone really engaged and knowing the scouting report, and everyone's really locked in at all times, and so I think it's really an advantage more than a disadvantage, so it's really cool to see everyone ready to go at all times.
Between you and Mia, and it feels like everyone out on the court, this team is so much fun to watch. What makes everyone so fun to play with?
I mean, just big personalities that play with a lot of joy. So when we're down, it never feels like it because Mia's dancing or someone's doing something crazy, and it's a lot of fun to be on the court with. It's really cool.
Getting this win and kind of a bounce back from Monday's loss, what does that do for this team right now?
It builds a little bit of confidence going. We play them again tomorrow or on Sunday. So just getting back to discipline, getting back to our roots a little bit, and it's going to be hopefully a good match for us.
Thanks, Johnny. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good job.
Taking a quick look at the stat sheet for Orlando in the losing side. A double-double for Hannah Pukas, 35 assists, 11 digs. They're led by Hannah Maddox's 13 kills, but Maddox was held to under 100 hitting. Nia Shimei had 9 kills on 207, and Bree Kelly was 8 for 16, hitting 438. Take a look at the league standings. Indy moves a full game in front of Dallas for first. Orlando is now tied at 500 with Atlanta for that final playoff spot, but still early in the season in fourth. For Indy, we talked about Ajani Teeler, a 23 for 45 day, 27 points scored, 8 digs, and 4 blocks. Part of a 14-block effort for Indy. Thought the Ignite were just so impressive in a whole wide variety of ways.
And sometimes it's not about winning pretty, it's about winning gritty. And Indy really showed that tonight. As Ajani said, they were the aggressors. They continued to put Orlando in difficult situations, and that paid off in a 4-set win. And now they can take that momentum into Sunday's match, where they have a rematch with San Diego Mojo, who they lost to Monday.
We're looking forward to that one. Orlando is going to stay on the road and play Omaha on Vice on Sunday. For Emily Eamon, our entire crew, AJ Cannell saying so long from Indy.